Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you all have a great Christmas and holiday season. I certainly am. I got 5 grandkids. They'll all be at my house on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, so I'm looking forward to it. And it's always great to get together with the family law section of the Bar Association. I'm going to make you a little paranoid today, and I'd like to share some of the technologies that are available to the private investigative fields and how it might impact or it might be able to help your clients, and also things to tell your clients to be aware of. Let me start with the asset investigations. Aaron gave a lot of information on finding out the values of companies and so on, but how many of you have had situations where a client suspects that the spouse may have withheld assets? Almost everything. They do that, I hear. We've been pretty successful. Actually, the company is 50 years old, and I've been with the company for 40 years. We've been pretty successful at finding hidden bank accounts and stock brokerage accounts and real estate and assets that have been stashed in anticipation of a marital dissolution. It is actually legal under the GLB Act, and also under FCRA and FDCPA, the federal acts that does allow research into hidden bank accounts and stock accounts. The only thing that's precluded by that law is pretexting. Now, you remember the pretexting situation that happened at Hewlett-Packard. They engaged a private investigative firm, and this has made a lot of other people in the legal community paranoid about this, but they engaged a private investigator who was trying to find out who on the board of directors at the Hewlett-Packard was giving information to the media. And so they went through telephone records, and they found out that one of them was making contact on his cell phone to this media person. And that's why this law has been changed, in the GLB Act is the one that's primarily involved in financial and bank privacy and so on. But it is legal under that law now to find out that information, and there's some really good resources that we have access to do that. Computer data recovery. Most people have computers, and you've probably used different organizations for recovering, for imaging the hard drives and recovering the data off the computer. Many times there will be financial information on the computers. We have access to the FTK software, which is, we believe, the best there is as far as recovering information, even if it's been deleted 3, 4, or 5 times. That information is on there. Now, how many people here have a cell phone? Let's say how many people here don't have a cell phone? And how many of you have a smartphone like this? Okay, if the phone has been laying on the table or in your purse, and you pick it up and it's warm, that means somebody's listening to us, listening to all of us right now. The technology is absolutely unbelievable. Now, if it's in your coat pocket, it'll probably be warm from your hot body. But the cell phone technology now has changed unbelievably, and I'd like to spend a little bit of time on this. When you get back home or your office, just for the heck of it, Google cell phone tapping, bugging, spying, eavesdropping, monitoring, recording. Just Google that and see what happens. You'll find hundreds of websites that sell cell phone spyware, or sometimes it's referred to as malware. It's cheap. We first learned about it 7 years ago. We were engaged, our countermeasure sweep team was engaged by a law firm in Orange County, California, because the lady who was representing another lady in a dissolution found out through a third party that the estranged husband was monitoring all the phone calls, and these were returning client phone calls. Nasty. And so our team went out and we did a sweep in this lady's business and her home. We could not find a thing. There was no bugs in there. We were absolutely sure. But after talking a little more, they found out that the only common denominator was this lady's cell phone. And her estranged husband was an IT manager for a big company out there. He had access to all the latest technology, and he installed spyware on her phone. I can't go any further about what happened, but it was very enlightening, and it also enlightened us as to how much this was going on. At that time, we were able to find 4 sites outside the country that sold the spyware. Now we've lost count at over 550. There may be 6 or 7 or 800. And so what the cell phone spyware will do, not only monitoring your phone calls, anytime you make or receive a call, it sends a text message to the bad guy, alerting them that you're on the phone. Then that person can listen on a third-party basis, obviously illegal in the U.S., very illegal, under federal law and state law. And so then they can monitor all those conversations. Now, as I explained before, when your cell phone is on standby, it's just laying on the table somewhere, they can remotely turn it on and hear us all talking here. Then they can get all your text messages, all your emails, all the instant messaging, all the photos, all the videos, everything that's on your phone. They have total control of the phone. So if your client is in a situation where the estranged spouse seems to know too much information, there are actually 2 private labs in the country that can analyze the telephone and see if there is spyware on there. And we actually have one of the labs. The other one is in South Carolina. Obviously, it's illegal in the U.S. And when you get on the websites, it says it's not illegal. Well, it isn't in India or Russia or Israel or wherever they're selling it to. And a lot of people believe that it's okay to do that. Now, there is a legal type of cell phone spyware, and it's one that can be used in the U.S. under pretty rigid circumstances. It has to be in a marriage type situation where they're cohabitating and maybe one spouse is paying for the cell phone, and that type of spyware will enable the other person, the bad guy or whatever, to monitor everything but conversations, text messages, emails, and so on. I forgot to mention that GPS can also be accessed. So they not only are listening to us here, they know what hotel we're in. And it's extremely accurate.